Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I just wanted to answer a quick question that came up from one of our insider members. They disassembled their reel to clean it, put it all back together, and noticed that when they go to pull on the line and pull drag, they're not hearing a clicking noise that you should typically hear when you're pulling on the line and the drag is going. So there are a few things that you want to check that will affect the noise of the drag. First things first is if you're using braided line, you want to make sure that when you are pulling on the line, or if a fish is pulling on the line, that your braid is not free spinning on the entire spool itself. So the spool will actually stay in place as you're pulling on the line, and the entire spool of line will just start free spinning on there. So to check that really quick, all you have to do is just tighten the drag down pretty good amount and start pulling on your line. If you see the line and the spool moving at the same time, then you're good to go. If your line is spinning but your spool's not moving, you have an issue with your line laying on your spool. So you need to re-spool that line on there, use some mono backing or something to keep that line from free spinning on the spool. Now once you've inspected your line, made sure that is not the issue, the next thing you want to do is to check the actual mechanism on your spinning reel that makes that drag sound. So it really comes in two parts. The first part is going to be this little gear shaped piece that is on the shaft that the spool sits on. You can see it has little teeth on there. You want to inspect those teeth, make sure they're not broken, worn out, missing, anything like that. Some of these are plastic, some of them are metal, depends on the type of reel you have. And then the second part is the piece that actually rubs up against those teeth, and that's going to be a clicker underneath the spool. So when you flip the spool over, you're going to see a little metal tab. One tab is usually what's going to be holding that line keeper on. Some of these spools have line keepers. One tab will be there for that. The other tab is going to either have a point on it, or it's going to be a flat little bar type of shape, and it has a spring on it. If that spring is damaged or worn out, it's going to affect the sound of the drag, because that little piece has to pop back into place every time it clicks on that other piece that's on the shaft of the spool. So inspect that, make sure it is working properly, and to do so, you would just take a toothpick or your finger and push up against that piece, and when you push it and let go, it should pop right back into place. So definitely be sure to inspect that. So hopefully this video can help you out if you are having some issues with your drag either not clicking or sounding very faint or weak. Also, one more thing is to make sure there's not a bunch of grease built up on the actual clicker as well, because that will actually muffle the sound of the clicking noise. So make sure it's cleaned off nice and clean, maybe put a little dab of oil on there, but you don't want to put grease on there. Again, it will affect the spring. It will keep that piece from bouncing back into place quickly and making that clicking sound. So make sure there's no grease on that clicker. And also, if your drag isn't clicking, that's not going to affect the performance of your reel, unless of course you're having that line issue where the line is free spinning on your spool. In that case, you're not going to be able to tighten down on the drag or anything like that. You're pretty much at the mercy of the fish that is taking all your line. So make sure your line is spooled on properly and check that drag clicker. Now, if you haven't done so already, definitely be sure to check out our Salt Strong Insider Club, where we guarantee you'll start catching more fish in less time. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.